Today we're going to look at some main courses, and I'm going to show you how to make some peri peri chicken thighs with sweet potatoes, red peppers and onions. Serve it with a flatbread, hummus and some tender stem broccoli. So I'm going to show you how to make a quick peri peri spice rub. You could buy one very easily, but the reason I'm going to show you how to make it is because they're ingredients you can easily buy from supermarkets. However, you can also control the heat. Peri peri traditionally is quite spicy. And I do know there's some athletes I work with who have soft palates, is probably the nicest way of putting it. So you can make this, take out the cayenne pepper, and then you've got something that has absolutely no spice at all. So the ingredients to my version of a peri peri starts with cayenne pepper. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I've got some onion powder, and again that's 1 teaspoon. I've got some garlic powder, 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, it's also called rubbed oregano, and 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now, there is an ingredient which you can't get hold of easily, and it's probably the one ingredient you could miss out if you've got trouble finding it, and that's cardamom. I'm only going to put half a teaspoon of cardamom in. It's very strong in flavour. I've got some chicken thighs here. These chicken thighs have the skin on. You could very easily do this with the skin off. However, I'm using the skin I'm going to cook them in a dry pan to release their own fats. So when you're caramelising meat, that's kind of the sound you're looking for. It means your pan's nice and hot. So now, while that chicken is in the pan, I'm going to move to preparing some vegetables. So I've got 1 red onion, which I'm going to top and tail, and I'm going to keep this really chunky. If you cut onions too small, they can burn, and although you want them to caramelise, you don't want them to burn. Okay, so I'm just going to dice this pepper down. This is a large pepper, so I'm only using half of it. So the sweet potatoes, you want to cut into about 1.5 centimetre dice, maybe 2 centimetre dice. You don't want to go much bigger than that because you'll struggle to get them cooked. So this chicken has been caramelised skin side down. I'm now going to take this chicken out of the pan. It's now time for the sweet potato. Okay, so these sweet potatoes are just going to be rolled through the chicken juices. Really start to coat it. So what you're looking for here is the sweet potato to start taking on a little bit of colour. And one of the reasons why you leave the skin on is because it helps hold it together. Sweet potatoes can go mushy, they actually contain quite a lot of moisture. So now I've kind of got some fairly even colours on those potatoes. It's now time for the peppers and onions. And we are just going to keep these all in the pan. Just keep cooking these. So these vegetables, they've all started to colour and they've started to soften. It's now time to add some of my peri peri spice. I've added 2 heaped teaspoons to this so far. You do not want the spices to burn. Okay, it's now time to add the protein back to this. Now, bearing in mind I haven't seasoned any of this yet. I'm going to add just a little bit more of this, just around the chicken. Okay, so all of the chicken has been coated in peri peri seasoning, all of the vegetables have been sweated off, the potatoes have been coloured. It's now time to put this frying pan into the oven. The oven is set on 180 degrees. So this has been in the oven for about 20 minutes. The chicken skin is nice and crispy. These are chicken thighs. The minimum requirement for chicken is 75 degrees C. However, these are chicken thighs. I'm a lot more inclined to cook these for a longer period of time so they hit around the 85 mark, just so they go nice and tender. Okay, so this is now ready to go. I'm just going to set this to one side. The number one rule when cooking anything green or any vegetable that grows above the ground, you start it in boiling water. I cook tender stem broccoli for exactly 2 minutes. Straight into boiling water, and I'm going to set a timer. I like to pan fry a pita bread. I find it goes slightly crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy in the middle. So the broccoli's had 2 minutes exactly. Pita bread is nice and toasted. It's taken a couple of minutes. Now it's time to plate up. So just give this a quick stir, and then I'm just going to spoon some of this lovely sweet potato and peppers and onions, 2 chicken thighs, and some tender stem broccoli. And it's not quite Nando's, but it's definitely a peri peri chicken with sweet potato, hummus, pita bread and tender stem broccoli.